Well, I just pulled up to the farm here. We're gonna get the side-by-side off the trailer. We're meeting a district forester to look at doing a TSI project on this farm. So I think that's them pulling up behind us now. But we're gonna try and kind of share that experience a little bit here, and hopefully get some knowledge out of them on what they're looking at when they're putting a farm plan together to do a timber stand improvement project. Today it's just kind of the initial meeting. We'll go through, look at the tree species we have, I assume, and kind of explain what my goals are for the property, and then they'll go back, do a comprehensive plan, and then probably come back after that and take another look around the farm. So
what is it? What are these? I have no idea.
Those are wild onions.
Oh,
or
really?
wild leek. That's what they're called, ramps.
Huh.
This is gooseberry, and that's on a second bench up from a creek. It'll get about waist or chest high, but normally in upland timber it's about knee high. No, that's what it should be.
Good.
That's
So
good.
all this down in here looks pretty good then.
That's ideal, yeah. Now, except for those guys.
Sure, yep, I can see those.
That's their natural form, which be kind of multi-stem, and sometimes
But I don't know how conducive this ground is to growing like brush. Like over there I was noticing kind of the buckbrush and stuff that you were pointing out.
yeah, it'd be like this all over the place. And this stuff that people hate, greenbrier, I mean, that's helping you have some obscurity without having to drop anything, but gooseberry. And there could be some native stuff down here like chokecherry that's even taller, or you could use that along your property boundary if that's what you're trying to have some.
Sure.
And you're going to be losing some trees, it looks like that tree right there with all the pecking on it. It's got ash borer, so your ash component's going to disappear and free up some more sunlight.
Really?
Just kind of spackled through here.
Is that what this is?
That is hackberry.
Oh, that's hackberry.
So-
that closest one there was ash?
So across the way, that's hackberry then, and then the one next to it.
It's leaning.
If you look at that fork, all the bark's been picked off and it's kind of white looking.
Yeah.
That's the woodpeckers getting the larvae out.
Oh. And that's an ash?
Yeah, and I think the one next to it,
Dropped a limb off of it.
yeah, they're all the TRP I've been looking at is just ravaged. So add shrubs and trees and tie in that barrier and help you
Get more seclusion?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any cropping history for these guys on this
To
side.
make sure, not quite sure what that one is, but if you can get a half-acre canopy gap, so it's going to be a little bit bigger, needs to be a little bit bigger than that. That would regenerate trees, and then I could justify cutting trees down to get you cover. So, and plus you're absent of a valuable tree species, which if you're interested in rehabilitating it back with the full suite of native trees you could have here.
Are there cost shares to do pretty much anything?
I mean, the qualification for that right there in the buffer is that it's got a DNR, maybe. It's just going to depend on what this is. If it's colo or zook, it might. Oh yeah, here's another one I keep forgetting. That might be an easy to accomplish goal in here. Is so you got a couple baroque right here that are kind of. The hickories are up in their business a little bit, so you could, and there's a walnut.
Yeah.
You could do crop tree release. This would be, I mean, it's not super dense, so it's not like it needs a widespread thinning, but you could just, at the very minimum, take these little hickories that are already struggling for light and drop them just around the oak trees.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of these, like.
Yeah, those are the ones that I would be more apt to be okay with.
Hinging or just dropping?
Yeah.
The low-lying areas, like we talked about, or those steep areas where we're not able to grow any kind of food plots, even on the other side of right where this green kind of ridgetop turns for the Rangers Park, that whole area, whatever, like we could food and cover. So that could be grass, but ideally it would be something taller.
If you want,
or
if
at
you
least
want trees and
strips.
shrubs, we could definitely make that happen.
We could do shrubs and trees that are like a strip maybe to block the visual quicker, but then grasses.
So the goals of the property really around just improving the hunting, and to do that, what we're lacking in right now is cover and food. And we can plant food plots, but a big percentage of a deer's diet, and that's the primary species we're worried about, is whitetail hunting. There's several sections of the farm that for whatever reason have really just haven't regenerated and don't have the diversity and browse height type cover that we need on the farm. And so we're looking at several of those areas about how we can improve that. Some of it is through cutting, whether that's removal of some of the trees to open up the canopy, or crop release. So if there's big oaks or something like that, that's one of the things that we happen to have on this farm was several big oak trees that if we can get some of the shagbark hickory out from around them, would just improve production. But then also it's going to let some more light to the forest floor and improve some of the shrub growth and things that are coming in. So at some point, all the walnut were harvested off. You can still see the tops laying around. But then there was also, the farm was pastured, so it was overgrazed. And we're finally, we're probably at least 6 years removed from the last time it was pastured, maybe a little more than that. But we're just now finally starting to see the regrowth after getting the cattle off of it. And so I think, don't know yet what the plan will be, because she's got to go back and look at soils and what our options are. But at least ideas that we talked about was some strategic cutting of certain tree species to try to release the better trees and open up light to the forest floor. But then also a big part of it, down in the river bottoms, we have really heavy reed canary grass. And I was just under the interpretation, or I should say assumption, that those were swampy, bottomland areas that flood too often to really have any trees or shrubs grow back, because it's just thick grass. But what she informed me is that reed canary grass is just a really thick, dense mat. I mean, we were standing in 12-inch thick thatch, essentially, from dead grass over the years dying, and nothing can grow in that. It just can't compete with that grass. And so the cattle were in there, and then somehow the reed canary came back first, and then nothing else has grown since. So kind of an exciting project, hoping to get that started. It's pretty early spring right now, so probably won't be until next spring before we can really start doing the majority of the work. But we'll try and, hopefully if all goes well, we'll try and bring you along for that project. I was hoping to share more of the actual the appointment today, the tour of the property, and kind of some of the feedback, because she is a wealth of knowledge. But if you haven't ever had the opportunity, if you happen to own a property and you hadn't had the opportunity to have a forester or somebody, there's a lot of resources within the USDA at our disposal, and typically free of charge. So it would be a good idea, if you've got a property, bring them out and just have them do an analysis, look at the farm and see how you can improve it, to whether it's through improving bedding habitat or food, or whatever your goals are. They probably got programs to help you, and most of the programs are pretty significant cost share. I think a lot of the REAP or EQIP programs we were looking at are 60 to 75% cost share on projects, which, it's not going to be a return on your money immediately, but you improve the habitat at some point down the road, that's going to pay dividends throughout your enjoyment while you still own the property, and then potentially if you ever sell it. So pretty interesting today. I enjoyed that a lot, and looking forward to seeing what comes of it.